On the day of trying on the wedding dress, Xie Yubai stood me up. Xie Yubai, who is always indifferent to outsiders, attended the parent-child activity of his new secretary's daughter's kindergarten with a smile. The child was holding Xie Yubai's hand and calling him daddy. I confronted him. Xie Yubai just slightly raised his eyes. It's just a trivial matter. Clothes get dirty, they can be washed. But if a man gets dirty, can he still be wanted? I need Xie Yubai to give me an explanation. Just for this matter. Xie Yubai sat behind the desk, his busy gaze finally detached from a pile of documents, and he looked up. He has a pair of good-looking peach blossom eyes. But his sharp gaze carries a domineering aura of condescension and scrutiny. From afar, it gives people a sense of distance. Yesterday, I went out on business with Chun-Yi, and on the way back, we passed by her daughter's kindergarten, so I picked up the child. Guogua was being bullied by a group of kids, mocked for not having a father, so I just helped out. Chun-Yi is Xie Yubai's latest secretary. After his former secretary, who had been with him for 6 years, left to get married. Xie Yubai changed 5 secretaries. In the end, he simply transferred an employee in her 30s with average looks, divorced, and with a child. Friends teased. Your Xie is too outstanding, can't resist women throwing themselves at him. You have to keep a close eye. I still have great confidence in Xie Yubai. He is the famous high mountain flower of Haicheng, wealthy and handsome. No one would believe it if they heard it. Xie Yubai is almost 30, yet he has only ever had one girlfriend, me. My friend glanced at me. That's true, you're fair-skinned, beautiful, and have long legs. How can those common beauties compare to you? Any man who isn't blind would know how to choose. I couldn't help but picture that indifferent face in my mind. But just as I finished speaking, I was slapped in the face the very next moment. Thinking about the video I saw makes me feel suffocated and angry. My wedding with Xie Yubai is set for 3 months later. The day before yesterday, I reminded him that we need to go see the wedding dress tomorrow. Xie Yubai thought for a moment and said, I have an important client to meet tomorrow. I might not be available. Xie Yubai is a workaholic, and compared to work, I might not even rank first. But a man who is clear-headed and rational is the most charming. I ordered that wedding dress half a year ago, and as soon as it arrived, the shop assistant notified me. I've been looking forward to it for so long, so I can't wait to try it on. So I told him to come after he's done with his work if possible. I waited the whole afternoon, but Xie Yubai didn't show up. It wasn't until the sun set that I fled in embarrassment under the slightly sympathetic gaze of the shop assistant. It wasn't until the evening that a friend sent me a video. Her sister-in-law posted it on her Moments, and her little nephew happened to be at that kindergarten. A group of children rushed to the finish line, and a 5 or 6-year-old girl threw herself into Xie Yubai's arms, sweetly calling him daddy. Xie Yubai, who is always stern in front of others, actually smiled so tenderly. Xie Yubai finished his work, stood up, walked over to me, rubbed my head, and pulled me into his arms. Chun-Yi and I have no relationship other than work, and I met her daughter for the first time yesterday. I really want to get into your little head and see what you're thinking all day. His expression was very composed. I'll be more careful next time, don't be angry. I've booked a private room at Yumingshuan. Isn't that your favorite place to eat? Yumingshuan is a very popular private dining place recently, and it's hard to make a reservation. Ever since I had a meal there, I've been craving their specialty dish, mango stir-fried beef. Well, I'm not that unreasonable of a person. He explained and apologized. I accepted it, and that's how the matter passed. At that moment, there was a knock on the door. It was Chun-Yi. Mr. Xie, here are your schedules for tomorrow and the day after. And this cooperation plan needs your review. Chun-Yi began to report on her work. I have to say, this new secretary is clear-headed and efficient. Chun-Yi was transferred from the logistics department. It is said that after a department meeting, the cleaning lady who was responsible for the cleanup had a minor injury to her hand that day. Chun-Yi could have left work, but she voluntarily stayed behind to help the cleaning lady clean and organize the venue until late, which happened to be seen by Xie Yubai, who was working overtime. So after Xie Yubai went through several secretaries, he directly transferred Chun-Yi to the general management office. Unlike the previous secretaries who loved to wear miniskirts or accidentally spill coffee on Xie Yubai, Chun-Yi is not very tall, just over 1.6 meters, slender, with an average look, her hair meticulously coiled into a low bun, dressed in a proper black suit. She would not attract any attention in a crowd. How could Xie Yubai be attracted to such a person? I shook my head, casting away the thoughts in my mind. I'm going to have dinner with Ini now. Let's put this aside for now. Chunyi, however, did not move. Mr. Xie, this proposal is very important. It was rushed out by the planning department overnight, and it requires your prompt response. She glanced at me and continued to speak with dignity and composure. Ms. Jiang wouldn't want to delay Mr. Xie's work, would she? It felt a bit odd what she said, but I couldn't pinpoint where the oddness lay. There are indeed some people who are conscientious and meticulous about their work, even rigidly so. I hope I'm overthinking. You read it first, we'll go for dinner after you're done. Xie Yubai finished his work. We only left his office then. Chunyi got up from her seat and stepped forward. Mr. Xie, your tie is crooked. Xie Yubai naturally lowered his head. When Chunyi finished adjusting it, Xie Yubai said thank you. I was about to say something. Chunyi took a step back. It's my duty, Mr. Xie. This is also part of my job responsibilities. Mr. Xie, the doctor asked me to remind you not to drink alcohol recently, otherwise your stomach will start hurting again. If you're uncomfortable, take some stomach medicine. I've left the medicine in your car. She glanced at me when she said this. What she's doing is, hit me? A little girl rushed over and hugged Xie Yubai's thigh. Daddy. After calling out, the little girl probably realized she said the wrong thing and lowered her head. I'm sorry, Guogua has never had a father since she was little. I was just too happy to see you. Sorry, Miss Jiang. Mr. Xie helped us out yesterday. This child might have just blurted it out without thinking. Is this Chunyi's daughter, Chungua? Xie Yubai couldn't help but pat her head. Let's go eat together. That restaurant's mango stir-fried beef brisket is very good. Chungua danced with joy. That's great, you still remember I like mangoes and beef, thank you, Daddy. After saying that, she playfully stuck her tongue out. I said the wrong thing again. Chunyi cautiously asked. Mr. Xie, would this disturb you and Miss Jiang? Inin won't mind. I was so angry that I laughed. How could it? I smiled. You three go eat, I won't disturb you. Chun-Yi and her daughter didn't follow, and the meal was hastily concluded. You shouldn't have embarrassed Chun-Yi in front of so many people. Xie Yubai was intently driving. It seemed like a casual, offhand remark. It wasn't yet time to get off work. There were still many people in the general management office. When I said that, the surroundings suddenly fell silent, and Chun-Yi's face turned red and white. Have you ever thought about how people would view me when Chun-Yi's daughter calls you daddy in front of so many people? Chun-Yi is diligent and responsible. Different from the previous secretary, you don't need to target her. I remember you never allow employees to mix business with personal matters, but you actually let Chun-Yi bring her child to work at the company? It's just a small matter. Chun-Yi is a single mother. Guogua wasn't feeling well today, and no one was there to take care of her, so I let her bring Guogua to work with her. Xie Yubai's phone suddenly rang. Mr. Xie. Chun-Yi's panicked voice came through. Don't worry, speak slowly. Okay, I understand. Xie Yubai hung up the phone. Guogua suddenly fainted. I'm going to check on her. Xie Yubai, you've overstepped. Xie Yubai sighed. Inin, you're acting out of pique. You're the one acting out of pique. Now you're accusing me for her sake. I felt a surge of anger raging inside my chest. Stop the car. I said I want to get out of the car. Xie Yubai suddenly hit the brakes. All right, you're too emotional right now. I don't think you'll handle things calmly when you see Chun-Yi and the others. It's less than a kilometer from here to home. You can take a taxi back. I vented by tugging at the seatbelt. The angrier I got, the more flustered and unable to unfasten it I became. Wait, it's going to rain, take this umbrella. Saying that, he handed over an umbrella. He was aware that it had started raining outside. I got out of the car and slammed the door shut with a bang. The car left without hesitation, leaving a trail of dust. Xie Yubai didn't come home all night. The next day I went to the hospital. Coincidentally, I ran into Chunyi again. And Xie Yubai, holding her daughter. They were standing very close. Xie Yubai said something, and Chunyi looked up at him attentively. Chunyi saw me, and her lips seemed to curl into an ambiguous smile. It flashed by quickly. Miss Jiang, Mr. Xie just came to see Guogua. Mr. Xie has been at the hospital with us since yesterday. I know Mr. Xie is just my boss. I shouldn't trouble him. Guogua had a sudden attack yesterday. I was a bit disoriented. There won't be a next time. Please don't mind. Xie Yubai didn't make a sound, his lips tightly pursed. I was already feeling unwell, and in a bad mood. Don't flatter yourself, did I say I came to find you? Secretary Chun, I didn't expect that not only are you excellent at work, but you're also top-notch at turning the tables. A good dog doesn't block the way, move aside. Only when I spoke did I realize my voice was a bit hoarse. I irritably pushed Xie Yubai, who was standing in front of me. What's wrong with you? Where are you unwell? I finally saw a hint of guilt in Xie Yubai's eyes. After I got out of the car yesterday, the rain got heavier and heavier, and I couldn't hail a taxi at all, so I ended up walking back. I'll go with you to take a look. He handed Chen Guo, who was in his arms, to Chen Yi. I want Uncle Xie. Chen Guo clamored. Mr. Xie, you should hurry and accompany Miss Jiang to have a look. We can manage on our own. Be good. Mr. Xie is just Mom's boss. We shouldn't trouble them like this. Do you understand? I'll have the driver pick you up. Mr. Xie, no need. We'll take a taxi ourselves. Chen Yi shows a strong smile, leaving with Chen Guo in her arms. The doctor said I caught a fever from being out in the rain, and there's some infection in my lungs, so I need to be hospitalized. People tend to be more emotional when they're sick. I cover my head with the blanket. I don't want to see you. What childish temper are you throwing now? Xie Yubai pats my head. Be good, take your medicine properly. Yin, let's break up. We've been together for so many years, and I always thought I loved you, but now I realize it was just a habit. Who do you like then? Do you like Chen Yi? She is both delicate and strong. Sometimes she can understand me with just a word. We have great chemistry and a strong connection. I think I've fallen in love with her. I jolt awake, drenched in cold sweat. It was all just a dream. On the small table by the wall, Xie Yubai is working on his computer. Only one lamp is left on in the room, its soft light spilling over him, diluting his stern features. Xie Yubai puts down his computer, comes to my side, and pats my head. What's wrong? You're sweating so much. Did you have a nightmare? I swat his hand away. I'm fine. Xie Yubai firmly holds my hand and doesn't let go. Please don't be angry with me, okay? Go away, go find your Chen Yi. Xie Yubai looked at me with a mix of indulgence and helplessness. Yin, we are about to get married. I know why you're angry. Chen Yi is my subordinate, and Guo Guo is a lovely child. They came to me for help, and out of humanitarianism, I couldn't ignore them. But apart from that, I promise you, neither in the past nor in the future, have I had any relationship with Chen Yi. Xie Yubai held my face and made a serious promise. I love you, you know that, I've always only loved you. Xie Yubai has always been aloof and silent. Suddenly, he spoke such straightforward love words. My face blushed uncontrollably. As a busy CEO, Xie Yubai's time is very valuable. When it comes to taking care of me, he does everything personally. He moved his work to the hospital. Every day, he personally made soup for me and stayed overnight at the hospital. Gradually, my heart softened. After so many years of feelings with Xie Yubai, I can't dismiss him outright. I should give him another chance. After being discharged and resting for a while, Xie Yubai asked me to go to the company with him. What for? We are about to get married, of course, it's to introduce you, the CEO's wife, to everyone. Xie Yubai was proving to me with his actions. I handed out wedding candies to everyone in the general management office. Thank you, Miss Jiang. No, I should call you Mrs. CEO from now on. Madam, tell us about your love story. The young and fearless girl asked with bright, eager eyes. I received many blessings. When I passed by Chen Yi's seat, she was not there. Chen Yi received a call from her daughter's kindergarten in the morning. It seems something happened to her daughter, and she hurriedly took leave. After handing out the wedding candies, I returned to Xie Yubai's office. He had to attend a meeting and asked me to rest in the office and wait for him to have lunch together. Chen Yi came looking for Xie Yubai. She glanced around and didn't see Xie Yubai, nodded at me and was about to leave. Secretary Chen, get me a copy of the guest list invited to your company's annual party last year. Thank you. The guests I plan to invite to my wedding banquet with Xie Yubai, I intend to refer to the list from Xie's annual party last year. Miss Jiang, I'm afraid this is not very convenient. Chen Yi paused. I'm sorry, it's my duty, this is company confidential. After all, you and President Xie are not a family yet. Xie Yubai said you are considerate and thoughtful in handling affairs, but the most important ability as a secretary is the ability to read between the lines. The wedding candies of me and your President Xie are right on your desk. The whole group is discussing the matters between me and your President Xie, Secretary Chen. It's hard not to doubt your ability. Chen Yi's face turned red. I don't know when Xie Yubai stood at the door. I don't know how much he heard. Xie Yubai frowned slightly and said to Chen Yi, Go get it, my wedding with Yin needs to refer to it. Chen Yi, from now on, whatever Yin needs, do as she asks. When Chen Yi came in again, she not only had the document, but also an extra cup of coffee in her hand. Miss Jiang, your coffee. On a whim, I dodged to the side. The coffee spilled. Most of the coffee splashed onto Chen Yi herself. Whether it was an accident or on purpose, it was her own doing. Xie Yubai, who was originally sitting at his desk, looked up and surveyed both of us before coming over and taking my hand. "Are you all right?" "I'm fine." Chun-Yi, on the other hand, looked a bit disheveled. She was wearing a full white suit today. The brown coffee meandered on her white clothes, dripping down drop by drop. Xie Yubai scolded sharply. "Be more careful in the future." "Understood, Mr. Xie." Chun-Yi looked dejected and was about to leave. "Secretary Chun, how can you be so clumsy like a little girl? Where's your responsibility?" I pointed at the mess on the floor. Chun-Yi squatted down and began to clean up. Xie Yubai glanced at her. "You may leave, let the cleaning staff come in and clean up." Chun-Yi remained squatting on the ground, her head down. "Mr. Xie, this is my duty, it's what I should do." The atmosphere was somewhat quiet. The usually strong and independent person showed a vulnerable side. Chun-Yi accidentally pricked her hand. She still didn't say a word, but her eyes were slightly red. Xie Yubai suddenly got angry. "Did you hear me? Get out." My heart sank. "I will transfer Chun-Yi away." Xie Yubai is adept at risk assessment. She seems like an unstable factor, causing arguments and conflicts between us, and could even lead to the collapse of our relationship. So, after rational analysis, Xie Yubai made a compromise. "But not now. Give me some time. I need to find a suitable secretary again." The matter of Chun-Yi was thus settled. Xie Yubai didn't speak a word all the way. As the green light ahead just turned on, a car cut in line and sped past. Xie Yubai suddenly tugged at his tie and slammed the horn hard. He was unrecognizable from his usual self, who never showed his emotions. My feelings were mixed. "Xie Yubai, can I still trust you?" A few days later, the Xie family held a banquet to celebrate Grandma Xie's birthday. When I arrived, Xie Yubai and Chun-Yi and her daughter were also there. Chun-Yi said something, and Xie Yubai echoed a few words which made Grandma Xie laugh happily. Chun-Yi's daughter has a sweet tongue. "Great-grandma, may your blessings be as boundless as the East Sea, and your longevity as the South Mountain." "What a good child, such a sweet mouth, Secretary Chun. Bring Guogua to play at home more often when you have time." When Chun-Yi saw me, she hurriedly stood up. "Miss Jiang, Mr. Xie asked me to deliver a birthday gift to the old lady today, and I thought I'd drop by to visit the old lady as well." Chun-Yi's attitude towards me changed after seeing me, becoming respectful and docile. "Old lady, Mr. Xie will take our leave now, not to disturb you further. It's getting late, why not stay for lunch?" Xie's grandmother warmly invited. During the meal, Chun-Gua looked at Xie Yubai with anticipation. "Uncle Xie, I want to eat fish, but I can't remove the bones. Can you help me?" Xie Yubai picked up the fish and carefully removed the bones. "Guogua, eat slowly." They were all happy and harmonious, just like a family. Xie Yubai turned to look at me, and also picked up a piece of fish for me. "Try this fish, it's well cooked." I said indifferently. "I won't be eating fish today, thank you." As I came down from upstairs, it was a coincidence that Chun-Yi and her daughter were about to go upstairs. "Miss Jiang." Chun-Yi stopped me. "Miss Jiang, we haven't said sorry to you for the last incident. It was all our fault, causing you to get sick and be hospitalized. Is that all you want to do, just apologize?" As we passed by each other, Chun-Yi said in a voice only I could hear. "Miss Jiang, it's good to act occasionally, but overdoing it is not good." "Chun-Yi, I underestimated you before." Chun-Yi's expression changed suddenly. "Miss Jiang, it's all my fault, don't blame Guogua." Chun-Gua grabbed my hand, crying as she spoke. "Auntie, it's my fault, please let my mom go, if you want to hit someone, hit me." Although she is a child, she was digging into my palm with her fingernails, causing a sharp pain. I was about to shake her off. Chun-Gua suddenly let go and rolled down the stairs. "Guogua, what's wrong with you? Don't scare Mom." "Miss Jiang, if you have any anger, direct it at me, Guogua is still just a child." So this is where the trap was set. My first impression of Chun-Yi's daughter was not good, but I didn't expect her to be so scheming at such a young age. Where did she learn this from? A crowd gathered upon hearing the news, pointing and whispering at the bottom of the stairs. I turned my head and saw Xie Yubai standing at the bottom of the stairs with a stern face. His expression was dark and inscrutable. "Xie Yubai, it wasn't me." The way he looked at me was as if he was looking at a stranger. Scrutinizing, suspicious, indifferent. "You don't believe me?" Xie Yubai picked up Chun-Gua without a word and left with them. For a while afterwards, I didn't see Xie Yubai. He seemed very busy, either working overtime or traveling, always with Chun-Yi by his side. From time to time, rumors would reach my ears. I heard that during this period, Chun-Yi was heavily favored by Mr. Xie. For the convenience of work, Chun-yi and her daughter moved to a large apartment near Xie Yubai's company. Until one working day, Xie Yubai was photographed with Chun-yi and her daughter at an amusement park, and the news went viral. Is Xie's CEO suspected of having a secret wife and daughter? A friend called me cautiously. Ineen, what's going on between you and Xie Yubai? I can't help but feel a pang of bitterness. Xie Yubai never puts work aside to accompany me. It turns out his principles can also be broken. After 2 weeks of Cold War with Xie Yubai, a family elder is hosting a 1-month celebration for their grandson, and since my parents are abroad, I have to go and congratulate them on behalf of the family. I ran into Xie Yubai again, along with Chun-yi and her daughter whom he brought along. They are inseparable. I was just about to leave. My gaze halted. I saw the safety buckle that Chun-guo was wearing. It was a gift I had given to Xie Yubai. I asked Xie Yubai, "Why is it on her?" Chun-yi explained, "This is something President Xie gave to Guoguo. The last time Guoguo got hurt, President Xie gave it to her, saying it could protect her safety. This is what you owe Guoguo." Xie Yubai's face remained indifferent, showing no emotion. My hands were shaking badly. "Take it off." That safety buckle was a keepsake left to me by my grandmother. He clearly knew the significance of that safety buckle. Ineen, it's just a safety buckle. I was getting agitated, ready to go forward and tear it off. Chun-guo was crying and struggling. "Miss Jiang, I'm sorry. I didn't know this was your possession." Chun-yi was comforting Chun-guo. "I'll return it to you right away." With a snap sound, the safety clasp fell to the ground and shattered. I flung her off, and Chun-yi fell to the ground. "I'm sorry, it wasn't intentional. All the blame is on me. Please don't blame Mr. Xie." Chun-yi bit her lip, looking extremely guilty for having done something wrong. Provoking me, driving a wedge between me and Xie Yubai. That's her goal, I'll help her achieve it. I raised my hand and slapped her. Just as I was about to raise my hand again, Xie Yubai grabbed my hand. "Enough! Enough!" 2 words struck me like a sharp axe, causing me immense pain inside. It also completely shattered our 5 years together. I stared at Xie Yubai intently. I had never looked at Xie Yubai with such eyes. Anger, disappointment, and even hatred. Xie Yubai was somewhat stunned. "Nanine, stop making a scene." I couldn't hear anything, crawling on the ground to pick up the pieces. "Stop picking them up, you're bleeding." Xie Yubai tried to pull me up. "Get out. Mr. Xie, my mom is hurt." Chun-guo, with a tearful voice, tugs at Xie Yubai's sleeve. Xie Yubai's outstretched hand halts in midair. "Calm down by yourself." Xie Yubai, along with Chun-yi and the others, prepares to leave. "Xie Yubai, let's break up." Xie Yubai pauses for a moment, without turning back. I packed up the things I left at Xie Yubai's house, throwing away what needed to be thrown away, until there was no trace of my existence in that house. The nanny, Aunt Yang, is anxiously pacing around. "Ms. Jiang, isn't this your favorite photo with your husband? Why did you tear it?" "Aunt Yang, Xie Yubai and I have broken up." She hides to one side and calls Xie Yubai. Xie Yubai said something, but it's unknown what. Aunt Yang hung up the phone and sighed. I moved back to my own house. A week later, Xie Yubai came to the door. "Are you over being angry?" I was about to close the door when Xie Yubai pressed against it, seemingly in great pain. "Ineen, I thought a week would be enough for you to calm down." Xie Yubai handed over a box. "I found this abroad. It looks very similar to the original one." Inside the box was a safety button, almost identical to the original one. But broken is broken, it's not the one I had before. "Is there anything else?" "I just flew back from abroad, came to find you as soon as I got off the plane. Ineen, I'm very tired." The Xie Yubai in front of me looked haggard, with stubble on his chin that had just grown and hadn't been shaved off yet, looking very travel-worn. He was showing weakness to me. In the past, as soon as he bowed his head slightly, I would feel heartache. "I came home today and saw that you had cleared everything out. Ineen, can you stop making a fuss?" "Xie Yubai, I told you we broke up. The wedding will proceed as normal. I promise you anything you want. I will give you the most grand and perfect wedding, but we won't get the certificate first." Xie Yubai took a deep breath. "I came today to discuss with you. Guoguo is about to start primary school. Chun-yi has a non-local household registration. In order for Guoguo to attend a good school, Chun-yi and I will have a fake marriage first, and then we will divorce after Guoguo is registered and starts school." The Xie Yubai in front of me doesn't seem like the one I knew. I was 23 years old when I met Xie Yubai, having just graduated from university. Our first meeting was at a bar. Having just been liberated from the tense and tedious graduation thesis, I was twisting my waist on the stage, releasing the pressure. The atmosphere gradually got ignited by me. Xie Yubai's friend pointed at me and said, "Look, that girl is quite attractive." Isn't that Lin Feng's cousin, the belle of a university? Didn't he say he was going to introduce her to you last time? Xie Yubai has never had a girlfriend, and his friends and relatives are all very worried about him. Xie Yubai frowned. Not interested. Later, I heard about this and was not convinced, so I started to pursue Xie Yubai, often creating chance encounters with him. Xie Yubai is aloof and noble, pure and unworldly, like an unattainable deity. It seems that no one can pull him down from the altar. Just as I was about to give up, once my best friend broke up, and I accompanied her to drink. We ordered 8 male models, each with 8-pack abs. F that sty man. F Xie Yubai. I have money and looks, what's a man? We don't know how much we drank. Alcohol emboldens people, just as I reached out my hand, preparing to touch. A shadow blocked my way. Let her go. My best friend stood up. Inin doesn't even know what it feels like to touch abs. Let her go. Xie Yubai had someone send my best friend home. Jiang Nanin, you've really made progress. Xie Yubai stuffed me into the car, his face gloomy. What's it to you? Who's tarnishing my reputation, going around saying they're my destined one? Aren't you the one who said you'd definitely get me within a month? Xie Yubai's voice seemed to be somewhat gritted. It's a bit embarrassing to recall, when I was pursuing Xie Yubai, I had loudly proclaimed that I would get him within a month. Now it's been 3 months. I admit defeat. Unconsciously, I started to sound tearful. All right, whatever you want to do, kill or behead, it's up to you. I closed my eyes, putting on an attitude of a dead pig not fearing boiling water. After a long while, Xie Yubai's deep voice came from above my head. Jiang Nanin, let's give it a try. The Xie Yubai I loved is forever left in the past. I thought I wouldn't feel pain anymore, but my heart still feels like it's being pricked by needles densely. Whatever. I prepared to close the door again. Aren't you angry? Xie Yubai was surprised. Can't you understand human language? Xie Yubai, we've broken up. Your business is none of my business. I closed the door. Another day of insomnia until dawn. Staying here is bothersome, so I decided to go out for a walk. Coincidentally, a college classmate is getting married and invited me to the wedding. I went to Xie early, a famous tourist city, where I visit attractions every day and find a small shop to sit and daydream. I made an appointment to meet a friend for coffee and catch up, but she was late. In the midst of utter boredom, there is a table diagonally ahead, engaged in a matchmaking session. See, you must have a good first impression of me, right? If there's no problem, we can go get our marriage certificate this afternoon. So urgent? Very urgent, extremely urgent, it's a matter of great urgency. What do you think? The woman hesitated for a moment, confirming that the man was not joking. Sorry, I have other things to do, I'll leave first. Don't go, it's better to seize the day than to wait for another. Is it really that hard to find someone to marry? The man was pounding the table. I can do it, I have 4 more today, come on. I couldn't help but let out a pfft laugh. The guy glanced over here and walked over. He's not coming to settle scores with me, is he? Before long, a tall shadow loomed over my table. I chickened out, lowered my head and pretended to look at my phone. The table was slammed hard. I was startled. Senior, it really is you, I'm Sue Ran. Sue Ran was a junior from my university, 2 years younger than me. Back then, I joined a club, and this club only had 2 guys, one of them being Sue Ran. So naturally, Sue Ran became the laborer that our club could order around. Junior, I'll treat you to a meal, help me out, will you? Moving stuff, running errands, even pretending to be a boyfriend to help a senior girl get rid of a suitor. Wherever Sue Ran was needed, that's where he'd go. We jokingly call Sue Ran our club's club pet. We had a good relationship back then, only gradually drifting apart after graduation. Senior, long time no see, you're really out of line, you stopped contacting us after graduation, prioritizing romance over friendship. Sue Ran pulled out the chair in front of me and sat down. It has been a long time, Junior. How have you been lately? I replied sheepishly. Sue Ran let out a long sigh. You see, my grandmother is ill, and her only wish is to see me get married. I've been on a dozen blind dates these past 2 days, but as soon as I mentioned getting married right away, they all ran off. With this approach, it's no wonder people get scared off. Senior, why are you here alone? I came to attend a friend's wedding and to clear my head. We chatted about our recent situations. Sue Ran's eyes suddenly sparkled. Senior, I'll treat you to dinner tonight. Could you do me a favor? After returning to Haicheng, I made an appointment with Xie Yubai. Unexpectedly, it was quite a coincidence. At the Civil Affairs Bureau, we ran into Xie Yubai and Chen Yi. Chen Guo was holding Xie Yubai with one hand and Chen Yi with the other. "Dad, Mom, let's hurry inside." Xie Yubai stared at me, saying nothing. Just as we were about to pass by each other, Xie Yubai grabbed me. "Let's have dinner together tonight." Chen Guo suddenly ran up to me. "Miss Jiang, Guo is pitiful without a father. Could you let Uncle Xie be with us?" Chen Yi spoke up. "Miss Jiang, children say things without thinking. Don't take it seriously. Mr. Xie and I got the certificate just so Guo could go to school." Xie Yubai's tone softened. "Inin, how long are you going to fight with me? Mrs. Xie will only be you. We've already come to get the certificate. So the sacred institution of marriage is just a casual matter in your eyes." I smiled. "Congratulations to you both." Xie Yubai, however, looked very unhappy. At that moment, Xie Yubai came over from the restroom. "Senior, did you run into an acquaintance?" "Who is he?" Xie Yubai asked, frowning. "What is that in your hand?" Xie Yubai's usually unflappable face cracked all at once. I linked arms with Xie Yubai and waved the marriage certificate in my hand. "Let me formally introduce you. This is my husband, Xie Yubai." "Explain." Xie Yubai's face darkened, feeling like a storm was about to break. I sneered. "Look, without the whip on your own body, you won't feel the pain. Jiang Nanin, I'm giving you a chance to explain who he really is." Xie Yubai suppressed his anger, speaking through gritted teeth. "Xie Yubai, I meant it when I said we should break up." I pried open Xie Yubai's grip on my hand with one finger. Xie Yubai seemed to have lost all his energy, his tall figure swayed, and he was on the verge of collapsing. After Xie Yubai and I left, Xie Yubai and Chen Yi ultimately did not get their marriage certificate. Xie Yubai drove after us and forced our car to stop. Xie Yubai slammed on the brakes. I took a deep breath, planning to get out of the car. Xie Yubai was indignant. "Senior, don't move, I'll deal with that scumbag." "That's fine. I don't want to see Xie Yubai's face again." The two stood in front of the car. Xie Yubai was talking to him about something. Xie Yubai suddenly walked towards our car, and Xie Yubai blocked him. In the scuffle, Xie Yubai fell backward. "Xie Yubai, what's wrong with you? Why are you hitting people?" I stormed out of the car, furious, and helped Xie Yubai up. "Where are you hurt?" "Let me see." "Ouch, senior, my chest hurts so much." Xie Yubai dramatically leaned on me. "Inin, I didn't push him, he started it, and I'm hurt too." Xie Yubai's muffled voice came through. Xie Yubai's face was also bruised. "You think he'd fall on his own to frame you?" Xie Yubai apologized to him. Xie Yubai, half hanging on me, suddenly playfully winked at me. Xie Yubai was incredulous, his face pale. "You don't believe me?" I looked at him with a mocking gaze. "Have you ever believed in me?" Probably thinking of something, in an instant Xie Yubai's face turned even paler and bloodless. "I apologize." Xie Yubai's voice was hoarse. "Let's talk. I don't know how we ended up like this. My original intention was to compensate for Chen Yi and her daughter on your behalf. I didn't do anything wrong in the first place. Why do I need you to compensate?" "Xie Yubai, you never believed in me." The once proud Xie Yubai was hunched over, looking dejected. "It's my fault. You divorce him, I'll transfer Chen Yi away, and everything will go back to how it was." Xie Yubai suddenly hugged me tightly. I struggled hard but couldn't escape his grip. I gave up struggling. "Can we go back?" My voice was as cold as ice. "Can my grandmother's safety buckle be restored to its original state?" Xie Yubai was trembling. "You can't. When you repeatedly ignored me for Chen Yi and her daughter. When you'd rather believe that I hurt Chen Yi and her daughter, rather than them staging it themselves. When you thought you were standing up for them, and ignored me, hurting me, and putting me in an embarrassing position. When you stand on their side time and again, favoring them. The hurt is already there. We all know we can't go back to the past." Xie Yubai wearily lowered his head, which was always held high with pride. "I'm sorry, Inin." The atmosphere was silent for a long time. Then, with difficulty, a few words were uttered. "What can I do for you to forgive me?" "I accept." Xie Yubai suddenly lifted his head, looking at me with anticipation in his eyes. "Xie Yubai, I accept your apology, but can you not appear in front of me from now on?" Xie Yubai got drunk in the bar. The once high and mighty President Xie fell from grace overnight, sitting in the corner every day like an ordinary drunkard, living in a drunken dream, murmuring "I'm sorry," sometimes suddenly covering his face and crying. Our mutual friends called me. "He knows he's wrong, can't you forgive him?" If apologies were useful, what would be the point of having police? I hung up the phone. Later, I don't know who gave him the idea. I received a bouquet of yellow roses every day. The freshly air-freighted flowers were vibrant and still glistening with fresh dew. Before, I often envied others when their boyfriends gave their girlfriends flowers. Xie Yubai, why are you so unromantic? You've never given me flowers. Xie Yubai had his assistant order flowers a few times. Later, he simply handed me a card directly. Buy whatever you like. It's flashy but not practical. Isn't this more useful than those? I was so angry that I yelled at him, calling him a blockhead, who would cherish the late romantic affection. In the evening, it suddenly started to rain. I took a glance at the heavy rain outside the window. Suiran came over and took a look. The rain is quite heavy, I won't be able to leave for a while. This cunning merchant is full of tricks, he's playing the victim. Senior, the water pipe has been fixed, you should go check it out. I took out a blanket and threw it on the sofa. Do me a favor and don't leave today. Since the evening, Xie Yubai has been standing there. The proud figure was bent by the wind and rain. I closed the curtains. Drinking and getting caught in the rain, illness comes like a mountain falling. Xie Yubai developed pneumonia from the fever and was hospitalized. A mutual friend called me. How can you be so heartless? Xie Yubai is so sick because of you, and you don't even go to see him. Until Grandma Xie called me. Grandma Xie has always been very kind to me. I couldn't bear to refuse her. Xie Yubai was half lying on the hospital bed, staring blankly out the window, looking very unwell. It wasn't until he saw me that there was a light in Xie Yubai's eyes, and he struggled to sit up. Inin, you've come to see me about the marriage. You're mad at me, right? I fired Chun-Yi. I was out of line before. I hurt you. I really know I was wrong. I came to make things clear with him. Xie Yubai, I'm going abroad. You know my father's health isn't good. A few years ago my mother accompanied him abroad for treatment. Originally, I stayed here for you, but now we're done. My parents are getting old, and I want to go out and spend more time with them. Your health is your own. If you don't cherish it, no one will care. You really don't want me anymore. The light in Xie Yubai's eyes suddenly dimmed. I turned to leave. Xie Yubai suddenly grabbed my hand, as if clutching a lifeline. I can explain about the matter between me and Chun-Yi. I just felt sorry for them, a single mother with a child. You say your scale tipped just because they are the weak, so whoever is weak has the right. When would the decisive and ruthless boss Xie ever go soft-hearted? It's not like that. Xie Yubai shook his head desperately. I don't know what's wrong with me, I just felt sorry for them. I didn't cheat, neither physically nor mentally. I don't love her. It's pointless to pursue whether you love her or not, Xie Yubai. You don't love her, but you don't love me that much either. Otherwise, how could you bear to make me sad? I believe you might like me a bit, but the hurt you've caused me is real too. Your affection can't outweigh the pain you've inflicted. I don't know when those hurts became thorns buried deep in my heart, occasionally pricking me. Let's just leave it at that. I met Chun-Yi again, at a shoe store in a shopping mall. A friend invited me to go shopping. I was waiting for her at the entrance when I casually spotted Chun-Yi, half kneeling on the ground, fitting shoes for a customer. There were shoeboxes scattered all over the floor, and the customer couldn't find any pair that satisfied them. Chun-Yi was sweating profusely from exhaustion. The customer stood up and said, none of these shoes suit me, forget it, I'll look around some more. But didn't you say you wanted this size 39? I had it transferred from another store. What do I have to buy just because I tried them on? Since when do you force sales? I want to speak to your manager. Chun-Yi looked wronged. But didn't you insist that I get you this pair? The manager hurried to appease the customer and pulled Chun-Yi aside. The customer is always right. How many times have I told you, if you can't handle it, then leave. Chun-Yi stood to one side, feeling wronged and unwilling, with a vacant expression. Her gaze passed through the shop window and saw me. Suddenly she was taken aback. Chun-Yi stared at me with a hint of resentment and quickly walked out. Are you satisfied now? After Xie Yubai paid Chun-Yi a large sum of compensation and fired her, Xie's influence in the industry, coupled with the news that Chun-Yi had messed up my marriage to Xie Yubai, made the wives in the industry keep a closer eye on their husbands. Chun-Yi was essentially softly banned in the industry. No well-known company dared to hire her. Chun-Yi changed several jobs. Finally, she found a job as a shoe store salesperson in a shopping mall. As for her daughter, Chun-Gua, she also withdrew from that expensive key school. Without Xie Yubai, Chun-Yi simply couldn't afford it. It was never me who made you like this, it was you yourself. And teach your child the right values, don't let her be like you. I don't know if Chun-Yi took it in, but I saw her stumble when she entered the store. But whatever happens to her is no longer my concern. On the day I left, Xie Yubai showed up at the airport. Just recovered from a serious illness, Xie Yubai's face was still a bit pale. We had some time, so we found a cafe to sit down. Perhaps we would never meet again, so I could still sit down peacefully and have a cup of coffee with him. Is there really no possibility for us? At the ice cream counter by the door, a girl and her boyfriend were choosing ice cream. I want this strawberry flavor. No, let's go with vanilla. Do you want both? Then let's buy two and switch. The guy looked at his girlfriend affectionately. The two bought ice cream and walked away hand in hand, chatting and laughing. I remember the scene of me feeding Xie Yubai ice cream. I don't eat sweets. I forced a bite into his mouth. Just try it. Is it good? It is quite sweet. Such feelings can be cherished as memories. But at that time, I was already bewildered. It's about time I should go. Inin, I will wait for you no matter how long. Xie Yubai, look forward. I walked step by step towards the boarding gate. Without looking back,